1.5 Tailoring. Previously we have covered the importance of projects and project management tools and techniques in delivering benefits to the organisation and keeping the organisation up to date, compliant with legislation and efficient and competitive. But there is something else needed too, and that is a robust project management methodology. It may come as a surprise to many of you and as a shock to others that the PMBOK guide is not a project methodology. But how can this be, you say? What kind of heresy is this? It's true. The PMBOK guide is not a project methodology. In fact, I have been interviewed for jobs before and they've asked me what sort of project management methodologies I use, and I say I use Prince2, and they say, do you do any others? I say, yes, I do PMBOK. Great, we use PMBOK methodology here. But as I said, PMBOK guide is not a project management methodology. Can I prove it? Easy. The PMBOK guide itself says on page 28, usually project managers apply a project management methodology to their work. A methodology is a system of practices, techniques, procedures and rules used by those who work in a discipline. This definition makes it clear that the guide itself is not a methodology. So the PMBOK guide has just said that it's not a methodology. You will find that wherever you go to manage projects, you can't just open the PMBOK guide and use it as a series of steps to direct you or to set up authorities or to find phases or stages and so on. You always need something else, a methodology. Project management methodologies may be developed by experts within the organisation. They can be purchased from vendors, obtained from professional associations or acquired from government agencies. Most organisations and project managers, they devise their own methodology to work with the PMBOK guide, or else they purchase one. Now, I've developed many myself over the years, but I find one that works particularly well with the PMBOK guide is Prince2. And something that's pretty good about Prince2 is actually free. You don't have to buy Prince2. Whereas if you look at some of these other methodologies which are not as good as Prince2 and they're asking a big fat fee just to use them. You can develop your own, as I've done. They're not going to be anywhere near as good as Prince2 and they'll take a lot of time and effort. You're much better off using something which has been proven over many years to be a very robust framework. But the thing about Prince2 is it does not go into depth in all the necessary tools and techniques. It's a framework, but the PMBOK guide does go into all the depth needed and all the necessary tools and techniques, but it's not a framework. So once you pass a PMP exam, I would recommend considering studying for a Prince2 certification. It just makes sense. But you won't be asked questions about project management methodologies in the PMP exam. The project manager collaborates with the project team, the sponsor, organisational management to decide upon the appropriate project management processes, inputs, tools, techniques, outputs and life cycle phases to use in the management of a project. Take into consideration the project environment, the organisational culture, the stakeholder needs and other factors. This selection activity is known as tailoring project management to the project. And if you're familiar with Prince2, you will immediately realise that the tailoring in PMBOK there's not really a lot to it, not compared with the Prince2. And so there's a good chance you will see something on tailoring in the examination. The PMBOK guide says tailoring is necessary because each project is unique. Not every process, tool, technique, input or output identified in the PMBOK guide is required for every project. Tailoring should address the competing constraints of scope, schedule, cost, resources, quality and risk. In addition, Consideration of whether the customer of the project is internal or external to the organisation may affect project management tailoring decisions. Sound project management methodologies take into account the unique nature of projects and allow tailoring to some extent by the project manager. However, the tailoring that is included in the methodology may still require additional tailoring for a given project. And that brings us to the end of a very short section on tailoring. The next lesson in the module is 1.6, Project Management Business Documents. Please read the corresponding chapter of the Pinbolt Guide before watching the video. And as a spoiler, let me just say that Project Management Business Documents are not the same as Project Management Documents. So hopefully that's got your interest up a bit.